Welcome to Hotline 21. I'm your host, Bruce Jackson, and today we've got a really great show for you today. But first, I want to just clear up some business with the Gift House. If you're calling about testing, HIV testing, or any of the STD testing, you can reach out. You can come over to the Gift House, and I put it on the screen for you, at 1309 South Kedzie. You can give us a call if you got any questions at 773-522-2420, or you can hit us up via email or check us out on the web, www.thegifthouse.org. And so do that, and I'm gonna put it back out there again, just so those of you who want to get to check up on your STD status, you'll be able to get the test. Remember, all our tests are free. There is no fee. We don't even bother with your insurance. All you need to be is a warm body, and we will test you. Okay, so all of our tests are free. Today, our guest is George Owens. How are you doing, George?
Pretty good, pretty good. How you doing, Bruce?
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Now, George, as you know, we have a health show.
Okay.
And so what we're trying to do is, and it's a community health show. And so what we're trying to do is, what ways can we make the community healthy? And I know that you're doing some things that will prevent a lot of, and sadly to say, here in Chicago we have a lot of shootings. Either it's with the police or it's with the community, shooting against other members in the community. What can we do to reduce this violence, and what other alternatives can we implement where everyone can reduce the violence and increase the peace and keep a healthier environment?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Bruce. First of all, my name's George Owens. I've been working with community organizers for some time now, over probably 25 years. I'm also a producer down here at KNTV. So I feel that one thing we need to do is start a dialogue of us talking and ministering to each other, getting to know each other a little bit better from different nationalities, from different cultures. As well as getting and working with our churches to go more into the communities, to start talking and being more involved into what's going on outside of those four walls. I work with a lot of programs that have healthy eating programs where they have farmers and they teach people how to grow their own foods, to cultivate their own land in the neighborhood with some of the vacant lots that's around, and change the environment so the environment is beautified. So when you feel that you're living in a beautiful community and you want to take care of it more, you want to sit out in some of the parks, sit out in some of the vacant lots that you turned into just areas that you can go out and communicate with the other people in your community. Those are a couple of things that I feel that would help change, but then you have to deal with, in some of these areas, you have a lot of violent communities. North Lawndale, West Garfield area was known for a lot of violence. You have Chatham communities. So a lot of what we have to do is also start policing our own communities, looking out for each other, having neighborhood watches where you're not scared to tell if you have a group of people just hanging out on the corner and you know that they're doing no good. So we have to start watching out for one another and then looking out for one another, for one thing.
Okay, if you're just joining us, this is the Gift House, and you can call the number at the bottom of the screen. It's right there. Call it, join in on the discussion. We're talking about ways where we make the community safe, and we can get rid of a lot of the gun violence, because sadly to say, it's taking out a lot of our youth. A lot of our youth are falling prey to this gun violence. So we're talking to George Owens, and he has programs that he's implemented within the city that will help give our young people something else to look at as opposed to gun violence. So don't be shy. Join in on the discussion, and you can answer any questions they may have. Yes.
I would give it my best shot.
Okay. Well, that's all you could do.
That's what we try to do.
Okay. Then let me ask this: how successful have you been with the youth?
I've been pretty successful, Bruce. I have a lot of programs that we reach out to young adults as well as teens, and we try to help them create their programs that they want to be involved in, and they see themselves in a positive image. We have programs that we start with like the Kids Corner, and where the kids come in and they talk about businesses they've started. So some young kids, they have rubber bands, so they use rubber bands as jewelry and other things that they feel that make them feel good about themselves. But the main thing is that they're learning how to share and use their dollars within their communities and buy and sell with one another. So that's a good thing that comes out of those sessions that we have. And then they learn how to communicate well.
Okay, that sounds great. That sounds great. I'm excited to hear about that. Now, I know you're doing some things with music. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with music and youth.
Okay. Well, what we do at Global City Unity is we try to have producers come in. We try to let them have sessions where we can hear the different beats and the rhymes and rhythms that they come up with. So they have a platform here in Chicago where we reach over millions of viewers, so they can show their talents. They don't have to go out and worry about being in a violent neighborhood or a violent area. Here at CAN TV, they just built a brand new facility, so this is a safe haven that they can come in. They don't have to worry about that they're somewhere that they're going to get robbed or stuck up, anything like that. So here they can come in and they can practice on their music, they can practice their beats, they can experiment with their craft. We have a couple other people that we've been working with for a while. One of my buddies, Ace, he works with Color Me Bad, Bootsy Collins, and Babyface, and a lot of those guys. And we're going to try to bring some of those shows here so you can hear from some guys that had old school music and how they made it famous and what it took and for them to keep their minds right, and what it took for them to just become successful in the music industry. So we'll be coming up with some programs like that so we could give back and teach and train our up-and-coming musicians, our up-and-coming youth on what they need to do to get in this business and be serious.
Now, if someone's out there watching you right now, if they're sitting at home on the couch, lazy boy, and they're watching you right now, and they want to reach out to you, they want to talk to you.
Okay.
How can they reach you? How can they contact you? Let them know how to contact you.
Okay, well, one way to get in contact with me is you could always look at our website, globalcityunity.com, and you could send us emails at globalcityunity at Gmail, and you could also reach out to me. My number is 773-531-1182, and you can get me, and you could schedule to be involved in some of our shows. We love new up-and-coming talent. If you got an originality that somebody hasn't seen before, this is a perfect place to have a platform where you could express what you do and how you want people to view you.
That's it. That is it. You heard it here. George Orange has got a great program for youth. Parents, if you got a young teenager at home, you got an older teenager, because sometimes if they're still at home, they could be almost 30 years old and still be treated like a teenager. You know what I mean, parents. But if you got someone at home that's young and you want to keep them in a safe and a very collegiate environment where they're learning something, you don't have to worry about their safety. He's got a great program. It hurts me. It hurts me to look at the evening news. I try to avoid the evening news like the plague. I don't even want to hear about the evening news because it's going to be about if it's not a policeman being shot, it's a citizen being shot.
Right.
I mean, it's just, it goes from bad to worse.
Right.
It goes from bad to worse. And there's got to be something better. You know, it's got to be something better.
What we have to do, Bruce, is start finding ways to invest back in our community so we can give. When I was coming up, we always went out and we had something to do. We could go to the Boys and Girls Club or something like that. We could play basketball, get into music, learn entertainment, learn swimming, whatever whatever you wanted to do. It was always a time where you can go out and go to some of these community centers, and they had funds that could keep you away from going out and just doing whatever in the street. So we have to go back to that old school age where we can fund and put more monies into developing our children and our youth and invest in our community service centers and outreach centers.
You know, I've got to have you back. I've got to have you back. There's so much and so little time, but we have a second guest. So we try to put so much information in these shows. So we have a second guest, but we've got to have you back. I want you to talk more about the programs you have. I know this is just of the beginning, the tip of the iceberg.
That's true.
And I'm excited. I'm sure our viewers are excited, but we have to have you back. And thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming out.
Bruce, thank you for having me.
And we're gonna switch out in a minute. And for those of you who want to get that free HIV and STD testing, there is the address, the Gift House, 1309 South Kedzie. And you can reach us at 773-522-2420. The email address is thegifthouse@sbcglobal.net. And you can also hit us up on the web, www.thegifthouse.org. And we are back. Can you want to move a little closer? And we are back, and we having again on the same thing about things that we can do with youth to prevent violence and keep a healthy environment in our community. Okay, and I have Joseph here. Joseph, it's a pleasure having you.
Pleasure.
Okay, and we've been working on a project with solar, and tell us how important solar is in our community. Solar energy.
Well, Bruce, solar energy is vastly important, especially to our community, seeing as no one in our community today has been free from having to pay high utility bills. Now, actually, I'm tired, as many people are, of every summer the electricity goes sky high as we use our air conditioners and our fans. Mm-hmm. And every winter, the gas goes sky high. So we're looking at renewable energy, mm-hmm. options for individual homeowners to put some of that money that they're putting out back into their homes, mm-hmm. money that you can invest into health, into things for your children to do, and even just reaching your dream. So renewable energy is an option that many people in our community have really failed to look at, because number one, once the initial cost has been put out, then mm-hmm. from that point on, I would say probably a year to 2 years later, you're looking at nothing but profit.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this. Now, most people think, if you use solar energy for some kind of way, solar energy is going to be different from energy from, say, the grid. So is there any truth to that, or is that just a myth?
No, the only difference is that you control the energy. Now, you have an option there. With solar, many people choose to be completely off of the grid. Some houses choose to stay on the grid under the belief that they're going to get some sort of monies back. But typically, I found that that's you only get a credit back from the mm-hmm. gas company, so it's really not worth it. It's better to control the your energy yourself. Now, someone with a solar grid in their household, maybe a wind turbine, something of that nature, can easily change over all of the utilities in their home to electric and be completely self-sufficient. So there is no difference except that it makes you free.
Mm-hmm. So they can actually when they change over. When they change over everything over, if they get a solar array, and then they put everything back into, put everything back and make everything electric, they will be free of any other additional costs.
That is correct. Now, generally with your off-grid solar array, you will have a generator. So, of course, you'll have a very small cost. I would say it's minuscule cost of occasionally changing the gas, the oil, perhaps. If you, again, if you have an off-grid, you're going to have a battery bank. So you'll have a small cost of simply changing the distilled water for your battery bank. Now, that's something that you can have the installer do for you, or if you are that hands-on person, you can do it yourself.
Now, how difficult is it to do? I mean, because you have women out here that who own homes, and they may feel like, you know what, that's something, if I don't have a man in the house, or if the man doesn't feel that he's handy, that's going to be something that it's a little bit much for me to do. How difficult is it to change the oil on a generator? I mean, are we talking like major mechanical skills to do something like this?
No, it's not a major mechanical skill. It's really plug and play. Now, the only difficulty I could say for a female would be this: if the generator is a larger generator, it may be a little difficult to for them. But otherwise, it's pretty easy. If you have any woman who has a boyfriend or a son can easily do that. It's generally just a matter of just taking a cap off and tilting the generator, letting all the oil out, and from that point, replacing the oil and the gas in a generator, and you're good to go from there.
Wow, that's great. So it's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible at all. It's actually really easy. I could tell you that's something that myself I've done, and I've taught my niece how to do so. On the generator, because most houses, anyone who has a sump pump nowadays in their house is probably going to keep a generator in the basement just for emergency purposes if the electricity goes out, not even knowing that actually with that same generator hooked up to an array can power the entire house.
Now, here's another thing too. Can you put solar panels on RVs?
Solar panels and RV, that's very, very popular, and it's been done for a long time now. There's a group of people in America we call preppers, and these people have been known to living off grid, more or less. They have been doing this for a very long time. And then there's a lot. The popular thing has been solar grids on RVs. You have solar grids on. People are putting solar grids on. I've even seen solar grids on some of the old the Volkswagen buses, the old hippie bus. Yeah, they've done that, and now you're seeing solar even at some of the parks. Even you're seeing solar on some of the cabins and things of that nature. So it's really popular, and it's very efficient.
Now, how difficult is it to do solar on an RV?
Solar on an RV, well, if you do have to have some basic electrical knowledge. That's number one. You have to understand electricity and knowing basically it's a plug and play thing though. An RV is, I wouldn't say it's a difficult thing, but because it's such thin material, the hardest part would simply be the mounting. But other than that, it's easy.
Great. So, wow, I like that. It's easy. If you want to learn more about solar, you can call the number at the bottom of the screen to engage in this discussion. Find out if you got questions. I'm sure many of you do. If you have questions about how solar works, would solar be right for you, call them at the bottom of the screen to learn, because it is a clean and renewable energy that has zero carbon footprint.
And that's correct. That's why renewable energy is the new thing. The old energy is, it's a coal-based energy. These plants are putting out pollution in the air. And that's something that our government has been very concerned about, the carbon footprint. And so renewable energy number one. If our government feels that it's good enough to invest in, I say, hey, well, why not us? Why not go ahead, make that small investment, and find yourself a bit of financial freedom from paying those utility bills every year. And as a matter of fact, it's a really easy process to do. And for those who don't know how to do it, well, hey, it's very easy to find someone like myself who's able to come out and take care of that for you.
Okay, and you will be at the Gift House on Saturday.
Oh yeah, I do want to answer any questions.
And if you want to come out, and let me give you that information. If you want to come out to the Gift House on Saturday, and if you're young or old, or you just want to learn about solar, you come out to the Gift House. We're located at 1309 South Kedzie Avenue. We will show you, and Joseph will be there as well. We will show you how to do solar. That's right. Let me repeat that. We will show you how to do solar, and the time is
2 o'clock.
The time is 2 o'clock, and you can come out there and you can learn exactly how to do solar. Okay. Now, on closing remarks, what is the best thing you like about solar, and what you think the guests would when they come out? What would they learn the most?
Well, what I found is that in many of our African American communities, we don't have a product that we can offer to the world. And solar is a product. It's so new. It's been around for a while, but it's so new catching up that this is something that our youth should get involved in. You should learn as much about this as possible, because it's an option. It's an opportunity for you to open up a whole world of options to you, from business ownership to even finding a career that, basically you can't get fired in, for one.
That's right, and that's very important. Now, let me ask this: what about those hybrid systems where you have solar panels and wind turbines?
I love them. The way I see it now, obviously sunlight is free. However, in Chicago and some states, it's going to be cloudy days. So on those days when it's cloudy, your generator is going to obviously pick up a bit of that and recharge your battery bank. But the wind turbine, hey, that's an extra couple of kilowatts of energy that, hey, for a small expense, why not?
Okay, well that's great. Let me give you the information one more time before we're off the air. If you're interested in coming out this Saturday at 2 o'clock, you will come to the Gift House, 1309 South Kedzie Avenue, right in Chicago here. And our number, if you got any other questions before we go off the air, is 773-522-2420. You can also email us at the Gift House at sbcglobal.net, or you can hit us up on the web. I want to thank you so much, Joseph, for coming out and explaining to us about the importance of about solar and how young people can learn about it, and they can participate in it, and how we can end violence in our community so that we can have a healthier community.
Bruce, I want to thank you, and hey, the pen is definitely more powerful than the sword. Knowledge is power, so let's get as much of it as we can, right?
And on that note, we'll see you next time with more information about how we can help our community be a more healthier community. Thank you and good night.